Well, good morning, everyone. This is John Craig, and
This is Sandy, but it's not time for me.
well, I'm going to bring you in right here from the start because you're right here with me. So,
Did you want me to leave?
so everybody needs to know who's in the picture, right? No, I don't want you to leave. I like that smiley face. You should do that. Like, okay, all right, whatever. All right. Well, just to go on, hey, you are listening to Let Us Reason Together, and I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. And right now, it's just Sandy and I, and so we'll see where it goes this morning, but we're gonna have a good time. If you're in the chat room, give us a shout out and say hi, and give us a thumbs up if you like what you're hearing here.
What if they don't like what they're hearing?
Then don't give us a thumbs down.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. But just so. But there's just a few of y'all that ever give thumbs up, and you know, it's okay to give thumbs up because I mentioned this in the war room earlier today. It's like it is the thumbs up is good for the analytics, and it's really important. And if
it makes you feel good.
It makes you feel good. I like giving thumbs up. If I like something, I give them a thumbs up.
And if you don't like something,
I just go on. Actually, sometimes I like something, but I don't give a thumbs up too.
Okay. You know? So
but anyway, and then share it. Like if you didn't get to see last week's show,
you need to go get some medicine. Watch it.
Last week was a lot of fun, and I had some people said they hurt from laughing so hard from last week. So it's just a shameless plug, but we did have a lot of fun last week, didn't we?
We did have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we had special guests last week too.
Are we going to have fun? Yeah, we did have special guests, Joe and Mark.
Joe Cameron was with us, and Mark David Smith was with us, and so we laughed a little bit.
So, are we going to laugh today?
I hope we're going to laugh today.
Well, let's see.
I have some things in here because you know why? This month is still Humor Month. It is. It really is. So just want to go on here. So let's go from the beginning here. And I've already introduced us. So this show is based off of Isaiah 1:18 that says, "Come now and let us reason together, says Yahweh. Though your sins are as scarlet, they will be as white as snow. And though they are red like crimson, they will be like wool." So this is where we sit down and reason out current events, cultural shifts, and of course, this week's Torah portion. And we can either push back or push through. Nevertheless, if iron does not sharpen iron, sparks will never fly. Is that right?
That's what you say every week.
I do say it every week, let alone ever get a fire going. And without a little heat and a good midrash, how will our hearts ever get soft and moldable enough to be transformed in the way that the Spirit, the Ruach, wants us to be? And maybe we'll have a little fun along the way. By the way, sometimes when there's sparks flying and stuff, they just break fellowship. And you know what that does? It gets a hardened heart. You don't let those things work within you, then you're going to go back and relive that cycle all over again. So let's just get it over and done with, right? I think it's important. Today is Monday, April 22nd, 2019. It is the 17th day of the first month of Aviv in the Hebrew year 5779, and it is the second day in the counting of the Omer. Are we counting? Because Shavuot is on the way.
Woohoo!
But in the middle of all this, we're celebrating. Which celebration? By the way, Chag Sameach. It is unleavened bread. So we're celebrating no yeast. That is, so no yeast in the house, no yeast in this house, right? No mixed doctrines, no false doctrines,
no
nothing.
Sin,
no sin. We're getting rid of all that junk out of our lives. Well, it is also Arguing with Atheists Day.
No
arguing with atheists.
Do not cast your pearls before swine. You can present your stuff, but don't argue. No.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that an atheist is a swine?
Yeah, I did.
You heard it first here on the Let Us Reason Together show.
You can always present your case. I mean, you can present the truth, but if they're going to come back and forth, that's just
wrong.
Well, I guess that there's a time and a place, and if Yas told you to do it, then do it. But
you know what? There's an issue about arguing is not necessarily a negative. We always think of it as negative, but as like an argumentative. But when we are making a case, we are arguing our case, right? So we can do that. All right.
I think that you should focus there, not there.
All right. Well, I had to pull this up. So
No,
here's the
you
next thing.
didn't.
And how about this? Praising your favorite team day.
That's wrong because because I'm been a worship pastor now for
How my team is y'all's team.
hold on. I have been leading worship for thousands and few, both
I
directions
thought you were
now.
going to say thousands of years.
And what I see consistently over and over, but especially in the Hebrew roots area, Messianic area, is you're willing to praise a team, but you're not willing to praise him because all you want is, I want to have that new teaching, that new thing discovered. And that's messed up. Don't praise your favorite team. Let's change that to let's just praise him today and every day.
There you go. That's why I said my team's y'all's team. My captain is the captain of the host of heaven. That was in the Haftorah this last week, where Joshua met the captain of the hosts. And he says, "Who are you with?" He's like, "Neither, but you're standing on holy ground." All right, let's go on. How about this? The day that slowly turns to a romantic dinner. Would you like that? Slowly turns, or you just want to let's jump into that?
I would love to have a romantic dinner, John.
Okay, let's move right along here. I'm shifting in my seat. If you're not watching,
Should I shift in my seat? Should it be like this?
That would be wrong. If you're not watching this and you're just listening to audio, you'll have to go back and just see what my wife is doing to me.
When was the last time and the only time you ever made me a romantic dinner?
I made you pork chops.
And I never had pork like that, anything like. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, what are you?" I don't even know that
Let's set the record straight. We don't eat pork in our household, but
back all those
years ago,
I still didn't eat pork, but he did.
And I introduced her, and she's like,
I did not want to take even one bite.
And she's like,
awful.
So anyway. But, that's the time of discovery. But
don't you think you should redeem that day? It's been decades.
You haven't wanted me to cook you much, but I do make a really good steak.
No, you cook the steak. The preparation of it is done before.
But it's those touches on the grill that makes a really good steak.
All right.
Okay. All right.
I won't marinate it or do all my stuff with it next time. We'll just let you grill it.
I like our teamwork on it, actually. How about this? Thinking about new last name day. Thinking about new last name day. So that's for all you single women. Have you ever wondered why the woman takes on the man's name? Does a man think about his new last name? Y'all's going to give us a new name. We're going to get a new name. Some people give themselves new names. Like Sonny, you have a new name, but that's not your new last name.
And I didn't choose that.
You didn't choose that. All right. So moving right along, we're just talking about stuff here. How about In God We Trust Day, observed annually on April 22nd? You know why they did that? In God We Trust. You know when the first time that was used? That I know that I've discovered so far, on the U.S. it was in 1864. I think is what I saw. 1864, the U.S. Minted a 2-cent coin, and that's where they engraved the word, or they put those words on there. In God We Trust. Is okay. Some trivia you might want to know. How about this? April Showers Day.
I would love to have some April showers.
April showers.
But after I get some things planted.
Bring May flowers.
Sing it again, John.
I made that up. So
do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
No, let's move on. How about chemists celebrate the Earth Day? How about Dingus Day? Dingus? What's a dingus?
I don't know.
I have no idea. So dingus must be very important. So you want to look that up? Look that up. It's Earth Day. It's some people call it Easter Monday. It's also a Girl Scout Leader Day. You know, they need some leadership that actually restores the values and not the values they've corrupted in the Girl
That's
Scouts.
true.
So I think they just need to come up with a whole new thing for girls.
I think that's interesting. National.
Yeah, and yet they have made Boy Scouts multi-gendered or whatever you call them nowadays. I don't know, whatever, let's move on before I get myself too much trouble here. International
We already did
International Mother Earth Day, National Jelly Bean Day. Remember Ronald Reagan? He that was his favorite thing was jelly beans. I don't
even think jelly beans are clean.
They probably aren't, and I've never really liked jelly beans. Just they've never been my things, but I do like M&Ms. All right, and then how about White House Easter egg roll? What does that mean?
They go roll the eggs on the lawn of the White House.
They roll them?
I think so.
Like bowling?
Like something. Yeah, something.
All right. How about this? Things being observed this week. Administrative Professionals Week. It's Animal Cruelty, Human Violence Awareness Week. And it's National Pet ID Week. So I think it's really important. If you've got a dog, to have a collar with their little ID on it. It's very important. In fact, did ours fall off, our dogs? We got to find those, put those back on. Hey, that's why we were talking about it. If the tags fell off, get another one. Put it on there. And then it's National Kite Month. Why is it National Kite Month?
Because it's windy?
Windy? That was March, right? But obviously not. April is windy too. National Pecan Month. As I say pecan. I don't say pecan, but some people say pecan.
Well, why did you just say it?
I don't know, because I just thought it would be funny. And then
It wasn't
National
funny at all.
Poetry Month. Give me some poetry.
Nope.
National Humor Month.
Give me the romantic dinner and I might give you some poetry. Although I think that's what you need to do at the romantic dinner.
Well, let's go on to the quotes for today. Quotes, positive quote of the day from Mary Ann Radmacher. It says, what if we just pretended that life was easy?
How?
It's the positive quote of the day.
But how do you do it?
Just pretend. Pretend it's easy.
Let's just sit back.
All right. Come on. It's easier for me than you, I think.
It's because you're not a woman. We think of everything all at once. You guys just put things in a little place.
One thing at a time.
We see the whole picture all at the same time, and it makes
one
it
thing at a time. Don't trouble me with multiple things at the same time.
And we've got to think of everything all at once.
That's why we work. That's why men and women work together. That's why it's not. Let's not go into that. Men and women are. That's why God designed it, for men and women to operate and walk together.
You know what? We should do my game today, just between you and me.
Uh-oh.
We should.
Do you have your game ready?
I could get it ready.
All right. But let's do these. Let's do the funny quote of the day. This is from Barbara Streisand, not my favorite author or thought or philosopher or anything like that. But this is what she did say. Why does a woman work 10 years to change a man's habits and then complain that he's not the man she married? I think that's hilarious.
That is hilarious, but yeah, okay.
Honestly, why is a woman attracted to the man? Because there's something in him that she likes, and then she works at changing him.
Okay. What redeemed you when I met you is that y'all made a time where I could sit and talk to you for 8 hours straight, basically, about the Lord. Because if I looked at anything else, I would not have gone out with you. Sorry, I wouldn't have done it.
You wouldn't have.
Because what attracted, and that hasn't changed, hallelujah, except your faith is stronger. What attracted you to me was that you loved God and you served him and you didn't compromise. And that was the attractive thing in girls and guys. That should be what you're looking for too. And it's not that you're not attractive, my dear. It's just that I just didn't care about all that.
It wasn't all about that. It was about my big, strong muscles.
I didn't see them yet.
You did. Still waiting to see them, right?
Let me see.
Are you still waiting to see them? We were talking the other day. Did you notice that British actors don't have the same
I
physique?
know, and people find them very. I mean, they have a different physical trait they like to see.
I
in
know.
one another.
Not only just British actors, but as compared to American actors or whatever.
They're big and buff. Americans are big and buff, muscles.
They got to have this buff and trim look, and the Brits, they don't care. They are who they are.
No, they don't even like that. They like the slender,
Beanpoles.
thin, and it's just a different. They look to different qualities for attraction, and yeah,
the Brits are. It's actually admirable because we've got
lots less work for you.
It's a lot less work.
Do you want to be British?
And well, I have a heritage from Britain.
No, you don't.
I do. I have Scotch, Irish, and English.
It's mostly just Scot and Irish and some Indian and
well, and what about you?
I got a lot of English and Norwegian and Danish and some German and
Sandy thinks I dated her cousin when I lived in Norway.
I do. My family came over not that long ago, and I think you probably did date my cousin. We just don't even know.
Don't even know. All right. How about love quote of the day, since we're talking about dating? All right. If he or she is an apple and you're an orange, celebrate your differences. Make a great fruit salad.
But if you're making a fruit salad out of the apple and orange, they all get cut up into pieces.
Well, hold on. Love isn't about being the same. It's about being sweet with each other. Oh, isn't that good? Jonathan Lockwood Huey. Of course, I quote him a lot, but because that's where my webpage is, where I get that from. But nevertheless, isn't that good? I think that's good. It's not about getting a salad, you cut it up, divide it up, whatever, but it's sweet. They operate together.
All right.
That's why it's male, female.
All right.
Yeah. Not male, male, not female, female, or whatever, multi 87,000
Did you want to take
genders.
care of what's going on in there?
Hey.
I'll get it.
I'm talking to you, Kat. Get off the counter. All right, here we go. I don't have the verse. I have a verse for the day.
Yeah.
How about this? Isaiah 11. Isaiah 11:11. This is a good one. Then it will happen on that day. What?
Mike's right there.
I know, but I'm reading over here. Then it'll happen on that day that Yahweh will again recover the second time with his hand the remnant of his people who will remain. From Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he will lift up a standard for the nations and will assemble the banished ones of Israel and will gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. I love that verse. That was from Isaiah 11:11 and 12. So there you go for a verse for the day. Since we're talking about Passover and a great Exodus, aren't we looking forward to a greater Exodus?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to seeing our King.
That's right.
So,
how about this? What happened on this day in history? Today in history, April 22nd. Did you know that Brazil was discovered by a Portuguese guy?
poor Portuguese guy.
Yeah. His name was Pedro Alvares Cabral, and he was the first European to discover Brazil. Of course, it was. Brazil was there. I mean, after all, Brazil in Hebrew means what? Iron. It was actually being used to mine iron by the Hebrew people. But that's how it got its name. But nevertheless, this guy was given the credit for it, and he claimed it for Portugal. That's why they speak Portuguese in Brazil. How about in 1823, this guy named R.J. Tyers, that's with a Y, patents this amazing article. Dun, dun, dun. Roller skates.
I want to see you roller skate.
1820. You know what? I rollerblade.
Have we ever done that together? Ever?
Yeah, didn't we go down here to that roller rink down here on South Coulter?
I don't remember.
We've done that, right?
Was very long time ago.
But I rollerblade better than I roller skate. there's something about the four wheels.
But have you gotten on it in the last couple, 20 years? Probably at least 20 years have passed. Do you think you could still do it?
Oh, I can rollerblade. Yes.
20 years later since you've been on them?
Yeah.
30?
I can ice skate too.
We'll see.
Can you ice skate?
I have.
Can you?
I haven't done it since I was 14,
Are
so I
you-
have no idea. I'm a little bit older than 14 now.
It's like jumping on a bicycle. You never forget.
There's something called ankles and age and all sorts of things in there. I disagree.
How about this one? This is for you baseball fans in 1906. It was all the way back in 1906, over 118 years ago. No, 12 years ago, 112 years ago. A new rule put umpires in sole charge of all game balls. What were they doing in the dugout with the game balls before that time? Maybe scuffing them up, doing some things to make them curveball better. That's why the umpires are in charge of the game balls now. They have to make these rules because people abuse it. How about this? In 1915, the first military use of poison gas, that was chlorine, was by Germany in World War I. And moving right along, in 1976, Barbara Walters, not, I don't know why I said that, but I've heard people make fun and say it that way. All right, so she became the first female nightly network news anchor on the Today Show. Remember Barbara Walters? She's still around. In 1993.
Still doing shows.
Yeah. 1993, the Holocaust Memorial Museum was dedicated in Washington, D.C. That was in 1993. Wow. It seems like they would have had it established earlier than that. But 1993, I haven't ever been there. Like to go sometime.
Misty has.
Mm-hmm. I hear it's really impacting. And in 1994, how about this? This is something I thought was very interesting. 7,000 Tutsis were slaughtered by the Hutu in a stadium at Kibui. Rwanda. Yeah, whatever that is over there. But in a stadium, they were just 7,000 people were just slaughtered. That was horrible. That was in 1994. I never heard about that until today when I looked that up. And in 1994, while these people are being slaughtered on this very day in history, Denmark makes the largest lollipop, weighing 3,011 pounds. Yeah, lollipop. Okay, going on. I don't know the rest of the words. I just remember the first part of those. And then 2006.
Sorry.
I'm going to skip the one in 2006. And then in 2016, yes, if you remember that year, just 3 years ago, Paris Agreement on Climate Change was signed in New York, binding 195 nations to an increase in the global average temperature to less than 2 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels, and to pursue efforts to limit the increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius. So in other words, I guess pre-industrial levels were, was lower than it is now. Did you ever think about that there's issues with the sun and that there's, dimensions that have nothing to do with industrial standards? I don't know. But when President Trump came along and he said, we're not doing it. We're out. And by the way, so did Germany. Germany just recently said, yeah, we're out. There's a bunch of nations saying, yeah, we're out. We're not doing it. Why? Because it's foolish science. There you go. That's my thought. Famous birthdays today. Vladimir Lenin. Yep, the Marxist revolutionary and Soviet leader. It is his birthday today. And you know why? I brought this up. It is because he consolidated power through, think about today, current events. He consolidated power through imposing censorship and authorizing the Red Terror. Consolidated power through imposing censorship and authorizing Red Terror. Well, that's what's happening today. There's censorship, all sorts of censorship
in the United
States.
In the
United States. And the Antifa, they are the brigades of Red Terror on our streets today. So just think what Lenin was doing then. That's what's happening now. Why? Because the Marxists are trying to consolidate power in our nation.
And who are them? Who are those?
The Marxists? Well, you can just call them the
Liberals?
Democrat Party.
Okay.
Because I mean, look at every platform of every presidential candidate, like 20 some odd
they are
candidates.
they are so far left.
They are very much following the same patterns. And whoever thought America would ever go that direction, especially after what happened in the 50s with with what they call the McCarthy era.
Maybe there was something to that.
Yeah, where they're rooting out the communists that were in our government, Hollywood, all sorts of things like that. And here's another guy, Robert Oppenheimer. Do you know who he is?
I do not. Who is Robert Oppenheimer?
Well, he was a physicist. Thank you for playing right along there. And he was a physicist, and he was called the father of the atomic bomb. He's an American, and he was the one who was given credit in his role for the Manhattan Project in World War II, which developed the first nuclear weapons. So, you know how he died? Throat cancer. How would you get throat cancer? Smoking. And then here's another guy, Glenn Campbell. You know that guy?
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Country roads, take me home.
No, that wasn't.
Nope, that's not him.
No, that was John Denver.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Glenn Campbell. Oh, yeah. Hee-haw, Glenn Campbell.
Hee ha ha. The Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour.
That's right.
Made him an international star. And what else did he do? Well, he was just famous. I was trying to look at some of the songs that he did, but it wasn't in my list. But yeah, he was, guess where he was born? In Delight, Arkansas.
What's that?
Delight. You ever been to Delight, Arkansas?
No, John, I have not.
And neither have I. Must be quite a great place.
Well, the happy birthday, although he's gone now.
He's gone. You know, he would be 83 today. He passed away 2 years ago in August. So he'd be 83 today. How about some lighter things? Things on the lighter side.
Let's do some lighter things.
Yeah, so we can jumpstart our brain. You ready to jumpstart our brain?
Are you?
I need a jump start. And so this is what I call some wit for the day to untwist your brain and some points to ponder and to carry on our tradition in the month of April as Humorous Month.
Okay, we'll see if you hit it this time.
So I'm
ready for some levity.
All right. So these are the top 10 hilarious and funny advertising trivia. Remember last week we did headlines? Well, we may do some more of those. I found some more. We may do some of those in the future. But these are funny advertising trivia. So here we go. Number one. Dun, dun, dun. I like doing that, but maybe you should do the dun, dun, dun. The American Dairy Association was so successful with its Got Milk campaign that it was decided to extend the ads to Mexico. Unfortunately, the Spanish translation was, "Are you lactating?" Got milk?
That's funny.
Are you? That's hilarious. How about this? Electrolux. Anybody have Electrolux vacuum cleaner? So it's a Scandinavian vacuum manufacturer. By the way, Electrolux is a very, very good product. Not trying to push something, but it's just a good product. They used this advert in the USA. Leave it to the Swede, or
leave it to the
is it the Swedes? It says Scandinavian, but leave it to the Scandinavians. Nothing sucks like an Electrolux.
Wonder how that went over here in the U.S.
Well, that would sure get my attention.
Might get you.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to use the negative on that though.
Let's go on.
Moving right along. Remember Braniff Airlines?
No.
I remember Braniff. They were the ones that were like the colorful airplanes. And we flew Braniff a lot when I was a kid because we flew back and forth to Norway. So they were like the domestic leg that we flew on. And when Braniff Airlines translated a slogan touting its upholstery fly in leather, it came out in Spanish as "Fly Naked." It's a true story. Now I'm not Spanish. Now you Spanish speakers would be able to help me out with that and confirm that, but that's what was said. Yep. How about number 4? Coors Beer put its slogan, "Turn it loose," into Spanish, where it was read as "Suffer from diarrhea." I heard that about
See, you get tickled. Men get tickled over bodily functions. It's so weird.
No, it remind me of because I always heard about Schlitz beer.
What about Schlitz?
Well, it rhymed with a certain word about if you drank Schlitz beer, it would give you, and I'm not going to say it because this is family radio. So let's go on. You didn't laugh at that.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Okay. You're just going to have to rewind it and then ponder it.
Okay.
Ponder it. Let's number 5. Bacardi, Bacardi rum and stuff. They concocted a fruity drink with the name Pavillon. I guess that's what it is. I never saw the.
Do you suggest French chic?
Yes, Pavillon to suggest French chic, but Pavillon translated in German as baboon.
Hey, what was that?
Baboon.
Do it. What does a baboon look like?
I don't know, but wasn't there a TV show about baboon?
It was the where the kid
that was raised in the Amazon.
Yeah, and it had Tim.
Tim the Tool Man.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. Somebody in the chat room.
That was a good show. I like that
chat room
show.
could tell us who Tim. It was actually a good movie. It was clean. Baboon.
Baboon is what he called his dad.
So French chic ends up in German as baboon. So that's what the Germans think about French chic, I guess, huh? I don't know. I'm just playing. Right. But they don't have borders anymore in Europe. So it's just all one European nation. Just moving on. Don't tell a German that or a Frenchman that, but maybe it's time to exit with the Brexit. Okay, here's number 6. A hair products company, Clairol, introduced the Mist Stick. The Mist Stick, a curling iron, into Germany, only to find out that mist is slang for manure. Not too many people had use for the manure stick.
Hey, let's get the manure stick in our hair.
Okay. All right. How about this? Number 7. When Pepsi started marketing its product in China a few years back, they translated their slogan, Pepsi brings you back to life, literally. They must have used Google Translator or something. And the slogan in Chinese really meant Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the grave. That was interesting. How about this? Number 8, in Italy, a campaign for Schweppes tonic water translated the name into a much less thirst-quenching Schweppes toilet water.
These aren't as funny as last week.
Well, how about this? The Chevrolet Nova car never sold well in Spanish-speaking countries. Do you know why?
Why?
Because Nova means it doesn't go in Spanish. It doesn't go.
My brother had one.
He had a no-go?
It did go.
It did go. Chevy Nova. Weren't they muscle cars?
They're muscle cars, man. If you have one now, that's a muscle car.
Yeah, you want to have a muscle car. Nova, no go. There you go. Thanks, Joe Cameron, in the chat room over there. And then how about number 10? In the French part of Canada, Hunt Wesson introduced its Big John product as Gros Jos or Gros Jos. And it later found out that the phrase is slang for big breasts. Just reading it. There you go. So I don't even know what Big John was.
I don't either.
Whatever the Big John products are. So anyway, that is it. Hey, so we're gonna jump into something today.
Let me see you jump. That was startled.
I jumped, right?
That's terrible jumping.
Okay. Isn't that a song? Jump, jump. What you gonna do?
Da, 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 da. Anyway. Da, da,
Oh, that you're thinking of that. Van Halen song.
I'm thinking of
Jump.
1984. That's what we ran onto the
Jump.
stage for graduation. They were playing that song, and all of us seniors ran to the stage on that
Van
song.
Halen. Do you know I went to a Van Halen concert when I was in college? I think it was my freshman year. Yeah. Because I really didn't go to many concerts. Did you know I went to Van Halen, went to Oklahoma City. So a group of us went down from Stillwater, Oklahoma, where I was going to school at Oklahoma State University. And we went to the Van Halen concert. It was opened by
I have no idea. I wasn't there.
Mellencamp guy.
Oh.
Yeah. The one that did Jack and Diane. So he did a much better job than Van Halen did, because Eddie Lee Roth was the lead singer of Van Halen at that time. He drank a whole bottle of whiskey on stage and forgot the words to several of the songs.
That's so bad. How did he even stand a whole bottle by himself?
Yeah, he did. I watched it. I watched it live. And so we ended up leaving right in the middle of the concert because, I mean, they totally bombed that concert out. I mean, it was bad. It was a bad deal. Yep, John Mellencamp. There you go. So,
like Jack and Diane. Okay,
that's the only.
That in my head.
That's the only song I remember.
This is a song day.
It's a song day
because I'm remembering all these songs of old.
I know. So there you go. Well, hey, so we're going to talk about this current event in this segment here. And this is about an article. I really like naturalnews.com, by the way. And if you're watching Four Corner News as a shameless plug, you'll see that I get a lot of my articles from there. And what are you laughing about?
Joe, we're getting songs stuck in people's heads.
Uh-oh.
We've sort of hummed several. Some were wrong ones, but we hummed them anyway.
Yeah. So this article I got from it's by Mike Adams over there at naturalnews.com. There's a bunch on there. In fact, I may even bring one of those or two of those in for this week's Four Corners News. And this Easter Sunday. It's time to tell the truth about the global war on Christianity and the rise of Satanism. So why do I bring this out? So, well, this is a Messianic Hebrew roots kind of network. At least we bring biblical truths from that Hebraic roots and Hebraic origins background. That's what we want to bring about here. But keep in mind, using the term Christianity, let's use that term loosely, because basically, let's remember there are New Covenant brothers that love Yeshua. Okay, let's just make that straight, and let's not just put up the barrier and whenever we talk about something like this, because if we're silent when it's
affecting us too.
Yeah, it is affecting us. Persecution for those that believe in Yeshua the Messiah Jesus is persecution of what we know is going to be happening and is happening in the day and the hour that we're living in. It's just a sign of the times. But these are some things that I thought we should talk about in terms of things to be aware of. And we were praying about this in the War Room this morning here on the Lamb Network. And it's about how Christian churches are being bombed all over the world today by radical Islamic terrorists. And yes, radical Islamic terrorists, and it is in their Quran that anybody that rejects their God, which is, in my opinion, it's not just my opinion. It's Allah. Allah is Satan, because he's so completely opposite of who the creator of the universe is. And it says in Sri Lanka alone, there are 207 Christians reported dead so far. That was as of April 21st. That was yesterday. And 450 injured in just one day. This is just days after the burning down of the Notre Dame in France, a fire that the media has gone into desperate lengths
to lie about,
to report as not set on purpose by Islamic terrorists.
Which it was.
And they're blaming a computer glitch, if you can believe that. Can you believe that? A computer
glitch. They were
glitch.
Initially blaming electrical wiring when we know that the wood has to have an accelerant to burn.
Yeah, that aged wood, I mean, it's old wood. old timber, and it's oak, which is really hardwood. It takes a lot to get that old wood to really begin burning. Somebody said, well, it's old and brittle, and therefore it's more flammable.
It's just more like the planes planes bringing the towers down.
Yeah, on 9/11. So
yeah, right.
So anyway, the real issue is Islamic terrorists, because over 1,000 churches last year were torched in France, and almost 1,000 this year have been already
and
torched
we're just
in
a few
France.
months in.
So why? Because it's just the sign of an invasion. When a nation's border collapses, it's a sign of judgment upon the nation, and that's what has happened in Europe. That's what's happened in France and Germany and Britain and all of that. That's what they're doing. In fact, our borders, if you don't know this, and I mentioned this on Shabbat during our Torah portion time, our borders are collapsing in the United States. Over 1,800 people in a day came across the borders, and don't leave. Oh, so she'll be right back. But so here, when a nation's border is collapsing, it's actually, according to Jeremiah, a sign of God's judgment upon a nation. And so when we're talking about, these attacks upon Christian churches and these attacks upon believers, we're actually looking as a sign of not only the end times, but the nations by where these people have been living in peace. There's a collapse going on, and it's really kind of showing us where we are in the timeline of things. It says across the Middle East, in places like Syria, Christians are being persecuted by the hundreds of thousands. They are killed, tortured, and run out of their homes and countries. Even in places like the Philippines, Islamic terrorists have seized entire islands and targeted Christians for slaughter, as stated by the Gatstone Institute International Policy Council. And this is what they're saying is happening in the Philippines. It says the new terrorism in the Philippines is not merely inspired by political or territorial grievances, real or imagined, but rather is imbued with intrinsic hate for the other, for the infidel. In May 2017, in the city of Marawi, a civilian bus was stopped by jihadis when 9 passengers were discovered to be Christian, apparently because they were not able to quote the Quran. They were tied together and shot dead, execution style. The jihadists took over Marawi during the uprising, forced women into sex slavery, and ordered Christian men embrace Islam or be used as human shields against the Philippine army. Here in the United States, Christians are being systematically and deplatformed off of all social media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, all of which are dominated by Satanists who despise Christianity. So, well, that's a pretty bold statement. Well, hold on. At the same time, every single Democrat running for president in 2020 has a record of attacking Christianity and either directly or indirectly supporting the silencing of Christians and Christian principles. And so we can see how these attacks are going on around the world. It says yet the left-wing media pretends it isn't happening. Instead, they claim it's gays, minorities, or Muslims who are under attack. And the same media now essentially equates belief in God with white supremacist or white supremacist beliefs. I can't, biblically speaking, by the way, only 5% of the world are Caucasian. 5%. The rest are other different races, ethnic backgrounds, and that type of thing. And the majority of the world that are actually believers are non-white, if you actually look at it. But let's go on. That's, again, there's the lies in the media. And so not only this, but there's this global war on Christianity, and those that are waging it are quite literally the minions of Satan. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
So it's time to call out the Satanists wherever they're found across society. So running universities, media organizations, and deep state bureaucracies, Satanism is endemic in Hollywood and the music industry. And Netflix has even been overtaken by Satanism. as it's now abundantly clear that its hiring of Satanists is as consultants for its popular Sabrina show that features a teenage witch who worships the devil to gain power in modern society. Did you know about that? I didn't know about that. So here, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen Sabrina. I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but she's got to sign her name in the book of the beast. There are demons, there's evil spells, there's orgies, there's all this sort of stuff that's going on. I mean, definitely a satanic thing. And there's also the design, of course, the copyrighted monument design of its goat deity, Baphomet. And then the Family Research Council senior fellow Peter Sprigg agrees the dark occultish element in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina provide reason enough for parents to keep their children, including teens, far away from this show. Block it. Don't watch it. Don't give them views, by the way. Don't even do research on it, because if they don't have views, they don't have a show. So that's what I would say. Sprigg told Fox News the show has gone over the top in depicting an actual orgy on screen. If they think having teens participate by keeping their underwear on makes it all right, the writers and producers need to think again. This content is not appropriate for anyone, especially not for the teen audience in its targets. So, and beyond Netflix, what about these big tech giants run by Satanists? Wikipedia, for example, relentlessly attacks Christianity and natural medicine, by the way, because this is natural news, while it's allowing pro-Satanism content to dominate its pages. It was founded by Jimmy Wales. Ever hear about him? He was a former porn king who uses the power of Wikipedia to bury his own past while allowing the platform to function as a smear engine for pastors, healers, and journalists who promote good instead of evil. And then what about Jack Dorsey over at Twitter? Yeah, he's targeted channels in his demonstration of his fascist tendencies. Those banned from Twitter include people who quote Mother Teresa or Bible scripture. Jack Dorsey personally oversees many of these bans, carrying out literal orders from Satan to silence those who share the word of God. And Jeff Bezos, yeah, can't leave him out at Amazon.com. That's why I like buying local. If I can buy local and not go through Amazon or I just try, or I'll use other places to order outside of Amazon because of things like this. And that is because he's banning books and movies that tell people the truth about vaccines, America, God, and more. And the same online retailer openly sells satanic books and chapters on teenage Satanism and animal sacrifice. So, I mean, there you go. So if they're banning, he's not allowing certain things to be sold, but it doesn't ban anything that's horrific like that's satanic in origin and stuff like that. Maybe we need to consider who we purchase through. How about this? Planned Parenthood, remember them? And they are related and tied to Satanism in the abortion industry. In fact, it says here, the entire abortion industry functions largely as a child sacrifice temple, allowing worshipers of Satanism to carry out demonic rituals under the cover of women's health. Many Planned Parenthood workers are practicing Satanism, and they pray to Satan as part of their child murder rituals. I mean, this is straight out, and this is from people that have been there, by the way. One Planned Parenthood director, we talked about this last week in the show Unplanned, about the horrors of this and the lies they're telling through Planned Parenthood. This director recently admitted to running a satanic pedophile ring, as newspunch.com reports. A former Planned Parenthood director has admitted that the organization is really a front for a satanic pedophile ring in which abortions are seen as demonic rituals. In an interview with the Daily Caller News Foundation, Ramona Trevino revealed that staff members have quotas for abortions so that they can use the aborted fetuses, shall we say the aborted babies
children.
for sick satanic rituals. Yeah. And the desire for murder of babies in the name of Satan is so prevalent among leftists and Democrats that the governor of North Carolina just vetoed a bill that would require health care for babies born alive after failed abortions. He vetoed a bill that would require
In North
health
Carolina,
care
that's why you would think it would be somewhere else. But
for babies born alive after abortions. Yeah, in fact, you can almost hear Governor Roy Cooper. Remember that name. He needs to be replaced, North Carolinians. He needs to be replaced.
vote if you're a believer.
That's right. He can almost hear him screaming, "Let them die," as he licks his lip to lap up the blood of children murdered in the name of Satan. I know that's gross. I know that's horrible. But think about the reason I bring these things up is we cannot hide our head in the sand.
And you don't hear them anywhere else.
And we don't hear it anywhere else. So we need to be aware. We need to know how to pray. And anybody that's thinking about it, and watch out for those bills going through your state legislatures, because they want to do the same thing. The Democrats want these same type of laws passed. So here's a short list of institutions which are now run by Satanists who despise God or Yahweh and Christ or Messiah. Yeshua the Messiah, Satan, and so here's a list. Wow, it's infected nearly every institution in modern society. You know, back in the 1980s, Marlon Maddox talked about the slippery slope. You used to watch Marlon Maddox or listen to him on the radio all the time. And he talked about a lot of these different things. He said, you know, this is where we're going. Well, this is where we are today in 2019. The Democratic Party and all Democrats running for president.
Why don't you say that again, though, because you sort of gave all the commentary in between, so you lost what it is.
Okay, so these are a short list of institutions which are now run by Satanists. You know, whether they're no
more commentary,
whether they're organized or not, they are following Satan. The Democratic Party and all Democrats running for president. There you go. There you have it. Hollywood, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all the dominant streaming content producers. The pop culture music industry. You just have to listen to the words, let alone those that are running it. Amazon, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all the tech giants. And by the way, we're using YouTube right now. But think about the platform. Those people that are running it. Modern medicine, which feeds on baby parts while pushing vaccines that contain aborted human fetal tissue.
All to cause your children to become.
And this is turning every vaccine into cannibalism blood ritual. That's exactly what that is. And then making us, I mean, after all, Washington State right now is passing a mandatory vaccination law. That the children that are not vaccinated cannot enter into public or the government schools. Well, I guess it's time to homeschool and take your kids out of private school if it means and be involved in these cannibalistic blood rituals. And then think about what New York is doing, all that sort of stuff. And y'all be aware. Here's the Vatican and the Pope, who is a direct servant of Satan. I mean, yes, I said it.
Go forward.
The LGBTQ activist community, which pushes pedophilia and the destruction of the church because the church teaches that homosexuality is unclean. But don't you dare mention the epidemic of anal cancer that's spreading across the LGBT community like wildfire. Yeah. How about every level of government, from local city councils to the federal deep state in Washington, D.C. If they are promoting these type of things within their community or allowing it to happen, they are promoting these elements of Satanism. How about this? The children's book industry, including the Harry Potter series, which we've talked about for years at Life of Worship here in Amarillo. The global banking cartels, which are all owned and run by pedophiles and child blood harvesters. about the Constitution or the institution of science? I think science is used loosely, which has become fanatical in its push to vaccine children with the blood of other children. Vaccines contain WI38 and MRC5 cell lines, which are derived from the aborted human babies, as it is admitted by this CDC official document. And there's actually a link in this article to the document that shows it. So I'm not just saying things like, oh, I can't believe that. Well, these are all linked. These all have, you can research every one of these and find it. About universities and public schools, well, as long as they're endorsing and forcing vaccinations and this type of education. In fact, in California, we talked about that last week. They're putting on the identification card of children, Planned Parenthood's phone number. And then also the open border advocates who need the borders to stay open so they can continue to traffic human children who are used as sex slaves and child sacrifice rituals by wealthy Democrat donors and other sickos like tech elitists and science skeptics who push medical child abuse. So what can we do to stay informed, to defend the word of God? Well, we got to stay abreast of these things. And by the way, this needs to be preached. It needs to be preached in every synagogue, in every church, every assembly, in every congregation. And anybody that's washing over this stuff and not addressing these things from the pulpit, then they're failing in their duty to keep their people abreast and aware. If people would actually rise up and act, we're talking about it here because if we get stirred up enough about it, we'll do something about it. We will not only write our congressmen, but we'll take part in our city councils. And I keep talking about getting down there to the city council, but we'll be part of those events and actually change our communities. But unless we do something, get riled up enough about it and say, well, I'm just waiting for the greater exodus, that's no different than saying I'm just waiting for the rapture. Then these things are going to continue. Babies are going to continue to die, and we're going to continue to have mandatory stuff that is designed to harm and to kill and to injure our children as well as us. I mean, how many of our elderly are saying you better take the flu vaccine, and the very vaccines that they're taking are shortening their lives? This is all part of a satanic plot to wipe out humanity and to kill, steal, and destroy. So there's a line in this article. It says, even most Christians will be fooled and will surrender their souls to this satanic influence if we don't do something about it. There you go. Signs of the emerging mark of the beast, the global persecution of believers, and the rise of global government. These are all signs of the end game is approaching. So, but we still have a voice, so we should use our voice. Any thoughts about any of that?
No, I think you pretty much
covered
did a lot of reading.
I did a lot of reading, but this was really an intense article, but I think it was something for us to think about and to ponder upon. So, where's the humor and all that? Well, there's no humor. Sometimes we have to be sober. So I like to have a balance between the two. We talk about serious things here on Let Us Reason Together. And that's what we're doing, reasoning these things out and talking about it and bringing these things out so we can actually talk about it. And hi, Sasha. Okay, this is Sasha. She's part of our conversation today as well. So anything going on interesting in the chat room?
No, I think it's time.
All right. So, and here's a comment from Deb. She said, they tried to make me take the shingles vaccine and I refused. Now it's found to actually cause shingles. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point, Deb. Absolutely. I've missed some of y'all's comments in here and I apologize for not seeing all those, but you know what? I appreciate your comments. Let's spread this information. And, we don't have a full crew today. So, I talked about, we'll go into the Torah portion. We're going to skip the Torah portion, the half Torah today. We've taken up most of the time talking about these current events.
You have.
And in these elements. But spread this information if you think it's good information, and there's people in your community or within your circle of influence that says someone needs to maybe hear this from somebody besides me, then share this link and put it on your Facebook or your social media, or send it out in an email. Perhaps someone might get informed and might awaken. The more people that are awakened, the more people will take action. More people will be stirred up and do something. And the more people that are stirred up to do something, maybe we'll save. If it means saving one more baby, one more life, one more that would be prevented going to an abortion clinic, maybe it's one less dollar spent to one of these organizations. Maybe our media dollars will speak, and our advertising dollars will go in the direction they need to go to support good family-friendly programming and that type of thing. So I did want to make this announcement, by the way, here on the Lamb Network. You can catch every one of our live shows and our recorded shows, by the way, over at MessianicLambRadio.com. And so you can go to, it'll simply just be a one-stop shopping location, so to speak. And you can go on there and watch every one of our shows and watch it right there, or you can continue watching here on the Lamb Network on YouTube. Also wanted to mention as well that that your financial support, by the way, helps keep this ministry going, and we want to certainly keep doing that so that we can continue with some good programming here. By the way, all of the producers on the Lamb Network do this on a voluntary basis, and so that we can join together in this ministry to provide to you good biblical teaching, cultural perspectives from a Messianic point of view, and to keep you informed of what's happening in the world around us. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the show today. I want to say thank you very much to my beautiful bride, Miss Sandi Craig, who has just stepped out of the picture again, and for joining me on the show. And we will be back on. Sandi and I will be back on tomorrow evening in Walking in Spirit and Truth. There's a shameless plug if you want to join us there with some really, really good teaching in a series that's been going on that is just really unpacking the Word. Sandi has been doing an excellent job there. I get to do the little color commentary on that show, but she's doing a wonderful, wonderful time in teaching and opening up the Word for us. And we've been talking about water into wine. Yes, there's a perspective there that it's really, really deep, really going there. It all came because we started talking about the rivers in the garden. And then don't forget tomorrow's Let Us Reason Together show called Chameleon Church, hosted by Alan Aguirre, and the other great programming here on the Lamp Network. And I think that's all I have to say for today. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, shalom.